This week on Technado, we'll be talking with ITProTV edutainer Daniel Lowrie about his upcoming presentation at CompTIA's ChannelCon conference. We're also going to look at the Capital One breach and talk about why your airplane needs to reboot. That's all coming up on Technado, starting right now. Welcome to Technado. I'm your host, Peter Van Rysdam, and I am joined, as always, by Justin Dennison over in Don's chair. How you doing, Justin?
I'm here, and I'll try to be vocal this time, since Peter has chastised me several times where I just do like a thumbs up or a wave. But yeah, I'm here, and I don't know. I might have pretty tall order to live up to.
Yeah, but luckily to fill Don's well, no one's going to fill Don's shoes, but we do have Daniel here. No, we have Daniel Lowrie here as kind of a two-part thing. Daniel is not only able to help us understand what happened in the news this week, but Daniel is also headed to CompTIA ChannelCon next week and giving a presentation there. And so we're gonna talk with you a little bit more about that. How's that sound?
That sounds fun.
Good. This is going to go great.
Yep. Yeah, I have a good feeling about this episode right here.
Yeah, we're going to find out how important Don is.
It's going to be a record episode.
Yeah.
7 minutes. It was weird.
Yeah, we're done.
Fun
Want to remind you, we are playing Buzzword Bingo today. And if you want to get your card, you can head over to go.itpro.tv/buzzword-bingo and play along every time we say one of these fun words, which we're going to say a lot of these today, I think, because we've got a lot of security-related stuff on the news. I'm going to check off my free square there. Technado. Nailed it. I'm in the lead. All right. Speaking of which, our first story is about a big leak that we've been hearing a lot about this week. This one over on CNN.com. A hacker gained access to 100 million Capital One credit card applications and accounts. And just on its face, this one sounds pretty scary because you put a lot of information on your credit card applications. You got social, address, name.
Yeah. Social is probably one of the more...
Social's the scary one.
Luckily, I've been using your social for all of my applications.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, the credit limits are out of this world.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because mine aren't. No, because it's probably because of that.
Yeah. He's got like 15 hard inquiries. Yeah.
Hey, but Daniel,
why does Credit Karma keep telling me my scores went down?
Yeah, that could be. You were saying that this one isn't as scary as it might
Well, it just
sound.
seems weird. Like, when I was reading the article, it was talking about how it didn't... The hacker did not gain access to... like login accounts to, was it Capital One, right?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't gain access to passwords, at least not that from what I saw. I quickly glanced over, so maybe I missed something. But it was saying things like, oh, it gained access to your name, your zip code, your address, things that you can find in the phone book on.
There's 140,000 Social Security numbers. 1 million.
That's the problem.
Yeah, 1 million Canadian Social Security numbers, and who knows what you can do with that.
Ah, great stuff.
Cheap insulin.
For some reason, I thought the Social Security number thing was definitely just a United States thing. I guess not.
Well, that's why they call it
Canadians have Social Security?
Well, they have Canadian Social Security.
Are there more than...
I'm sorry, this says Canadian Social
Or are we
Insurance
giving
numbers.
them Social
social
Security
insurance
as well?
numbers?
Social insurance
I just
numbers.
thought the United States government would go ahead and group them in.
They're like, eventually we're going to annex this place.
And it says 80,000 bank account numbers.
That's an issue.
Yeah.
Bank account numbers is a problem.
Is that a problem, though, if you don't have the routing info?
You can get the routing info is available online.
Most
every bank.
Most routing info is just, you can go, what is the routing number for blah, blah, blah.
Citibank, yeah, whatever.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What was interesting...
That's an issue.
What was interesting about this is they caught this individual because they bragged about it on the internet, right?
This isn't the first time I've heard about this happening, though. Like, a lot of times FBI or whomever is looking for these perpetrators, and they will straight up get on the gram and be like, I done hacked me some Capital One, baby, yeah.
Yeah. What's in my wallet, y'all?
Yeah, your bank account. And then the FBI's like, we're going to need to talk with you.
So the interesting thing about this person, too, is they worked at Amazon Web Services. So that is the hosting provider for Capital One, which begs the question, how was this information stored on those servers? Because just because I work in the server farm, I shouldn't be able to see the data that's on the server if it's put there correctly, right?
It's possible. I mean, it's their machines. They have physical access to them.
Sure, but
right.
you'd think the data's encrypted on that machine, right?
Well, it just
Would I be
depends
wrong?
on how they're doing things. It's
Wrong.
possible, not probable.
Mhm.
Let's put it that way. Highly
Yeah.
probable.
Thanks, Peter.
Yeah, I said encrypt, but nobody said
you
it
sure
back.
did. Yeah, you were hoping for it. But
You could say it back to me.
so as you read through this article, I'm kind of interested to see like,
You're what?
more
Wait, if you said it,
interested-
can I write it down?
Yeah.
Oh,
If
okay.
I said, you write it down. If
Cool.
you could just say the things and get bingo, that would be a very
No,
quick.
I'm going to need you to stop talking. I'm looking for encrypt.
I said
know
it might not be on yours.
It's not on there.
It's not.
Stupid.
There are many different.
They're
words.
not the same.
But
words
despite
across.
my
Okay.
horrible
But you said you're
speech
looking for
issue,
encrypt, by the way. So
There you go.
there you go. I
welcome.
mean, this we're already seeing the shenanigans.
You know, for a
John.
5 spot, I'll just read your page out loud.
But within this article, there was a couple of things that I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like they said, bank account numbers, social security numbers, social insurance numbers. But then later on, a statement, no credit card numbers or login credentials were compromised, and over 99%
Okay,
of social
that's
security
what I
numbers
thought.
were not compromised. However, I could care less if my credit card was compromised if my bank account number is compromised,
Right.
yeah,
right?
one kind of feeds the other.
Yeah.
Well, like, what is 1% of that company's data? You know,
Yeah.
How many records is that?
Yeah, that's the thing. If you had 100 million,
Right.
users accessed,
That's going to be
There's
a
still a
million.
lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
it's still very significant. So this is a big breach, and it's definitely something.
They said it's one of
if
the
you-
biggest in history. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do. So if you do business with Capital One, and it seems that we all do, according to these numbers, just take a look and
Listen, this
see.
is where we can put our tinfoil hats on and start making conspiracy. Amazon, the reason Jeff Bezos is so rich is because he had this lady hacking into banks.
That's all your bank.
And because of the Fed, next thing you know, we're not landing on the moon. It was all a big hoax.
If he
right?
just took
And the world's
$10
flat.
out of each of these accounts,
Right.
man, that's where all the
Superman's
money's coming
worm,
from.
right?
Hey, let's go to our next story here. This one is on a website whose address I'm going to try to say now, rainbowtable.es. So rainbow tables with a dot in the middle.
Rainbow Tabla.
Yeah.
S.
That's Spain, right?
Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah.
España.
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 But this doesn't look like a Spanish site. It looks like they're just taking advantage of the plural.
Yeah.
All right. That's really beyond the point. Honda Motor Company leaks database with 134 million rows of employee computer data. And so seems less scary to me because they don't have my social. But I do wonder. It says they got things like
This was
machine
employee?
host name, MAC address, internal IP, operating system version, which patches had been applied. So what can I do as a hacker with that kind of
So
information?
they're making that kind of stuff publicly available, not purposely. If I were targeting Honda, that information could help me understand what their internal network looks like and what IP schemes they were using. So if I were able to get through their DMZ and make some sort of access beyond that, pivot into their internal network, I understand their entire IP scheme. I know boxes that exist because I'm seeing that information, and now I can start targeting them. Oh, you got this operating system. Awesome. Let me look into my bag of exploits here for that operating system's,
Yeah, so it's not
vulnerabilities.
necessarily, you have direct access now, but you've got, you're taking out a lot of the guesswork you have to do.
You're making the hacker's job easier. Again, if that's internal stuff, you still have to get to the inside of that network to be able to leverage any of this information. But again, if you have made it that far, then all of a sudden you sigh a sigh of relief because now I don't have to continue to map your network. You've done it for me and give it to this handy web-based appliance for me to enjoy the information with.
Yeah, give it to the internet.
One that definitely caught my eye was the information linked to the CEO's laptop, including which Windows updates have been applied.
That is a special one.
display name, account ID, employee ID, device type, security status, their IP. Now, with that said,
What's cool is you could use that even for just social engineering.
That's what I was going to
Like,
say.
yeah.
So you could call
Yeah.
up, hey, TechSport, this is the CEO.
my employee
Yeah.
ID is blah, blah,
It's such and
blah.
such.
I need a password reset.
Exactly.
Right? And boom.
Who's going to say
you're
no
in.
to the CEO?
Yeah.
Yeah, not anybody who enjoys working there.
Yeah.
So, pretty crazy. It doesn't seem like there's, I didn't see anything where it was like, oh, this is cause these kind of financial ramifications.
Right.
But definitely knowing all updates, employee ID, all that internally could be
helpful.
Yeah, to
could be
know,
rough
they haven't
times.
patched for this yet. I
Right.
can use XYZ.
Exactly.
Is
That's why
Windows-
like when we did the Eternal Blue the other day on the webinar,
you
people
could
were
see-
like, "Hey, but isn't there a patch for that?" Yeah, there is. Is it applied? And we scanned our internal network and found that the Grass Valley director switcher things are running embedded Windows 7 that do not have that patch.
And
And I was able to own one.
For those watching at home, what are the IP addresses? For
That's 10 dot.
So Windows 7, is it end of life or is it still supported? Do you know?
It's end of life, but they did put out a patch.
Right, they're still patching things. Like they patched XP for
Oh, it was
Eternal
XP,
Blue.
yeah. 7. Yeah.
And I think this new one that's coming out, Blue Keep, is going to get patched as well, just because it.
They got the
basically is-
time.
Yeah.
The only reason I ask is, like, if you look at the screenshots within this article, there's a whole bunch of Windows 7 machines.
bring up that-
End of life is January 14th, 2020.
There you go.
I guess they really have 2 reasons to start updating
Yeah.
those machines now. Like, oh, well, we don't get any more security patches, and also everybody knows everything.
They'll still
about
give
them.
them security patches.
I
They always
know.
do, especially when it's a big fat devastation.
Well, because they know that even if they've told you a million times it's end of life, people are going to say it reflects on Microsoft, even though it's like, well, this thing's 15 years old now that you're using.
Yeah.
Well, you should have this work. So it's how it's going to reflect on them. So I understand them going back and doing that. Hey, let's do our next article now. So that was transportation. That was motorcycles, lawnmowers. They're hacking our mowers, our cars and things.
It's going to mow my lawn for me.
Yeah.
Right. Hack the planet.
Big deal.
Grass.
Big deal. But this one's a big deal. Slashdot.org, the best designed website on the internet. Airbus A350 software bug forces airlines to turn planes off and on every 149 hours. And when you compare it to the Boeing 737 MAX, it's not really a big deal. But you just hope that when you're on that 5-hour flight across the country that they didn't start the flight at
I was about to say,
hour 146.
is this a bug that forces the systems to reboot, or it is forcing the administrators to reboot the systems?
I hope it's the second one.
I hope it's the second one too, because if you're mid-flight, you're thinking, "Man, I can't wait to get to Dayton, Ohio," and all of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to direct yourself to the port side of the plane where you'll see me parachuting to safety. You'll probably want to do the same.
We're going to go ahead and climb to 50,000 feet because we're going to drop about 20,000 feet while we have to reboot.
Yeah.
So within this article, it urged operators to turn their A350s off and back on again to prevent partial or total loss of some avionics systems or functions.
And those sound important. I'm not a pilot.
Yeah.
I don't have an aerospace degree.
Me
Or,
neither.
Avionic systems sound like the
avionics
flying.
systems.
Is that on
Here,
here?
no.
shoot.
Actually, I haven't even been
Weapon
looking.
focusing, did we say
Yeah.
that?
No.
No, I think I said that.
But yeah, it seems like that could go horribly awry. And oddly enough, it's fixed by one of the oldest IT tricks in the book. Turn it off and back on again.
Did you reboot
even
it?
if you're
That-
a $1 billion plane or
makes
whatever it is?
Yeah.
So I'd love to air traffic control. This is Delta Flight 72. We've got a warning light here. Yeah, Delta 72. Go ahead and try rebooting.
Yeah. Can you reach over to the small button?
Yeah.
The one that's got the weird circle with the dash in the middle?
Yeah.
Hold that down for 3 seconds. What's
ahead.
going to happen? Plane's going to go off. You're going to hit that again after everything's done.
Should come back on.
Yeah,
let us
you
know.
should be good. You should be good.
They're,
That way-
if they're like my old users, they'll say, "I've rebooted it 3 times like I'm supposed to."
Yeah.
'Cause-
Who
then we
needs an
tell 'em,
altimeter?
Well, here's what's up. I'm going to need you to reboot that again.
Yep.
Well, if you think that, okay, fine, I'll just go out and get a small private plane and fly myself because I don't want to deal with these Boeing 737s or these Airbus A350s, I've got some bad news for you. According to SecurityWeek.com, the U.S. issues hacking security alert for small planes. So the Department of Homeland Security is issuing an alert for planes, warning that modern flight systems are vulnerable to hacking if someone manages to gain physical access to your aircraft, which honestly seems pretty easy. I watched a lot of Wings growing up.
Yeah, you just walk
And
out
it
on the
seemed,
tarmac.
seemed like
right?
anybody could walk out there.
Yeah.
And there's just that one.
I mean, Lowell was the one that
Lowell,
was
thank
watching
you.
the plane.
Yeah,
so.
and you could be like, "Lol, I'm the new
Yeah.
pilot." Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, you go get in the cab with Tony Shalhoub.
I'm wondering how many people are catching this reference right now.
Wings was a great show.
Wings was a great
Yeah,
show.
thoroughly enjoyed it. It's so funny. It's so funny. I was thinking about the other day how many great shows from the late 80s and early 90s have just been lost to the dustbin of history. We act like they never existed.
They're not in a dustbin. They're in a DVD bin at the truck stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you had to
Get
take
the
a
box
truck
set
or
of
a bus
wings.
because your small airplane was
Yeah.
grounded because
Yeah.
someone
Not a
gained
Honda,
physical
though.
access.
No.
Don't take
Yeah.
a Honda.
It's gonna ride
So
that
the
dirt bike
CAN
across.
bus, they said that people were just able to interact with the CAN bus. I can't remember what the acronym CAN stands for right offhand. Do y'all remember?
No, not in that
Controller
context.
Area Network.
Okay.
Yeah, microcontrollers and devices. Seems like, again, that's another one of those important aspects of an airplane.
That'd be all right.
I feel like you could replace this with anything though. Like, I feel like you could hack a lot of things if you have physical access to it.
Typically, that's how it goes.
Yeah, they can hack your computer if you give them your
I
computer.
mean, what's Wes's favorite thing to say? If I can touch your computer, it's no longer your computer.
That's a fair point.
If there's a computer in my car, my airplane, or whatever else, if I have some alone time with it, I might be able to figure something out. I've seen some of these hardware hacking booths and stuff at like hacking conventions, and they're like, "Oh, these are some routers that people threw in the garbage, and we just fished them out. And watch this. Look, here's all the passwords that were ever on it."
Oh wow.
And they just hook up some gator clips and some probes.
Well, they
And
always
you're like, "What is this?"
these days they always have like the car hacking.
Yeah, it's a big one. House
stations,
hacking
too.
also.
House hacking, yeah, with the smart homes. So, people are out there doing this. This was cybersecurity firm Rapid7 that found this potential vulnerability. I wonder, like, that's a great job. They're like, just go see what you can hack, and we can write a blog post.
Let me
about
tell
it.
you who works for Rapid7. Smarter people
Oh.
than everyone.
So it says that this CAN bus, it's like the central nervous system. It allows them to modify sensor readings or take control of the plane.
That seems fun.
Yeah.
Take control.
Why is the propeller going the other way now?
Yeah, I don't know, but we are losing altitude.
Hey, Billy,
fast.
come play this flight simulator I just downloaded.
So it was funny. Earlier today, I was thinking of that old Bugs Bunny cartoon where he's walking through like the military base, and there's a gremlin like hitting a missile
I think I remember this
with a
one.
hammer.
Yeah.
And the gremlin's like jacking up this plane. Apparently, he was using the CAN bus to do so.
Yeah, that was a
There it
researcher
was.
from Rapid7.
Yeah, it was a Rapid7 guy. Was he wearing a Metasploit shirt?
I don't know. I have to go back and watch that one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have an update in the continuing saga that is John McAfee over.
It's John McAfee.
Yeah, over at the New York Post, nypost.com. IRS fugitive John McAfee sent to the UK after stint in Dominican jail. And I want to say he was down, it wasn't Mexico, but it was like Costa Rica or something, for Bolivia.
Yeah, he
He was
absconded from justice for a while.
Yeah, and he's still a fugitive of the law, which I feel like some of these countries have extradition. But anyway, if he's being
Well, he's a
sent to the
fugitive
UK,
from our law, right? Obviously, the UK's got him. Is gonna.
yeah, well, hopefully
put the
they
screws to him.
share him afterwards. But he also has a lot of money, so that helps if you're in trouble.
Yeah,
That
it
tends to
does.
help.
It does. Tend to
Whenever you're
get you out of
arrested
that.
on your yacht, that's a good sign for your ability to get out of this. But yeah, he was arrested with a cache of weapons on his yacht. Normally deals with a
There's
different
no
kind
crime
of
in
cache.
that.
That's a good cash joke.
Weapons is not on mine.
Yeah, is cash on there?
No.
No. Did I say government? Well, I just did.
You can't.
Crap.
Oh, thank you.
You're-
So yeah, just a good time for him. But I suggest if you're ever just having trouble sleeping, just go on probably Wikipedia and just read the stories about this guy. It's fun, but it's good to see that he's still in the news. And what really concerns me is that they haven't changed the name of that software.
No, they have not.
and it's still packaged with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though he sold it apparently in 1994.
It's
Yeah.
like wouldn't you change that when it's like the guy that made it is
But that's one of those things. McAfee or McAfee,
McAfee.
antivirus.
Everybody knows
If you
it.
change it, what are you going to change it to? So that the brand recognition still carries over, right?
Right.
They should make him change his name.
Maybe they should call it like McAfee. Just something.
That sounds like the knockoff version that your mom got at the dollar store.
Discount antivirus.
I got you this antivirus. It was way
It was
cheaper.
I was
the
at the
thrift
Dollar
store.
Tree and saw this in the bin.
Yeah. So you know what? I had
McDowell's.
McDowell.
I hadn't kept up much with what he's been doing. Boasting about not filing a tax return, going to Belize, getting in trouble at Belize
That's-
because he was a person of interest in a murder.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's where
moved
I
to
started.
Guatemala.
was a person of
arrested
interest
in
for murder.
Guatemala.
Yeah. So the murder was in Belize, right?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
It was like his housekeeper or something.
And
Something
he was
weird.
later arrested in the murder of a neighbor. It was a neighbor.
Oh, neighbor.
Well, don't they say like people that are highly successful are most likely sociopaths of some ilk, narcissistic?
Well, he is both.
Very possible.
Well, I don't know that he's been convicted. Of this.
He got deported in 2012 from Guatemala.
That's tough.
Yeah, went to South Florida. More shenanigans like solicitation.
Wow, yeah.
And then he went somewhere else. I guess to the Dominican Republic.
I'll just read an
He
important line
loves
here,
South
though.
America, doesn't he?
McAfee, who is seeking the Libertarian Party's nomination for U.S. president in 2020, asked his Twitter followers on Friday whether he should also campaign to be British prime minister.
So
first of all, I think
he's
that
been
already
taking
happened.
crazy pills.
Yes, well, yes, he stopped taking his non-crazy
Yeah.
pills. It's probably more
As you
likely,
do.
but yeah, can you be president
Was he
while you're?
Was he a born citizen? Was he born a
Yeah.
citizen of the United States?
Yeah, he's just running. But do you have to come here to actually file the paperwork, or
That's a good question.
can you file it from your jail cell in Guatemala?
We should make that like the next Technado thing. Let's actually like run for president.
Oh well, yeah,
We'll get Don
we'll
to
send
run.
you to a Belizean jail. Is that a place?
I don't think that's like a requirement to be in a Belizean jail.
No, we want to see it. First of all, I don't know if Belizean is
yeah.
the correct nomenclature. But,
With McAfee.
I'll allow it.
It's Belizean McAfee.
oh man, well, good for him. He said in
sounds
a
like something
video
South
earlier
Park
this
would
year
do.
he was charged for using cryptocurrencies in criminal acts by Tennessee authorities.
See, you can't.
man, I
that's
did say
not
that,
true
yeah.
because you can't track cryptocurrencies, right?
Well, he probably boasted about it on his Instagram.
He was like,
He's like, "Look at
Bitcoin,
this,
baby, yeah.
Trying to recover from this murder I did. I've been using.
Allegedly. I had allegedly.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to go research like presidential requirements because he was born in the United Kingdom.
Was he
But-
born on a U.S. base?
to a U.S. Army base.
All right.
But
On
I
an
know
Army
there's
base,
I
yeah.
know there's problems with like I went to grad school with someone who was born in Germany. They were born on an army base, but they never actually received a United States birth certificate. And so it's like shenanigans anytime they're like, "No, I'm an American citizen, I promise." But they didn't receive a United States birth certificate.
Interesting.
Listen, the computer doesn't say it.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm really tempted. I'm not going to do it.
Except
but
you
I'm
are.
tempted to click on this right here that says, "See also, digital security legend John McAfee's naked shooting spree." Like, are we shooting guns?
Again?
Taking photos?
That was I'm like, the way that's phrased is,
Yeah.
is he naked and shooting?
Or
using
shooting
that cache
naked.
of
What
weapons?
is that tattoo?
Or is
on
he
the back
shooting
there?
photos?
Is that an emu? I don't know. It could be just a tribal tattoo in the shape of an emu, but
I feel like this is
Good
about
luck.
to get bad. If we
yeah, it's
don't
going
get
off.
about
Let's
it.
go to the
We should
next
move
one.
on to the next article here. All right, this one's on Thurrott. Thurrott. Thurrott, the home for tech enthusiasts, news, reviews, and analysis at Thurrott.com. Microsoft renames Office Online.
The real story is that no one cared.
Yeah. They're dropping the word online because,
It's implied.
because
Everything's online now.
who uses Microsoft offline anyway? They're going to name that
Who uses
Microsoft
Microsoft?
offline. now.
That's the
Yeah.
next announcement. That's going to come next week. Now we've rebranded our desktop applications to Office
John McAfee
offline.
emu back.
So it sounds like the way that they're going to delineate it, because you still need to be able to say, "Hey, what version are you using?" Oh, I'm using the Office Online one.
Well, they could
or-
go crazy like Android, be like, I'm using version, TikTok.
Oh God.
Yeah.
But they're saying they're going to call it like Office for Windows, Office for Mac, Office for iOS, Office for
Okay.
Android, et cetera, et cetera. So
I mean, I think that's a good naming convention.
yeah, I'm using Office for Chrome.
Yeah.
Is that the way I'd say
Office for the web? Actually, if it goes for Office for Windows, Office for Mac, that doesn't actually fall
It
in
still
line
doesn't.
with removing the online part.
Yeah.
I actually ran into an Office issue today where getting the unique set of entries from a column on Windows computers, it's a function.
Is there an office?
Online and Office for Mac, it is not a function. So there are like specific differences.
Yeah.
So I don't
No office for Linux? What's up?
I think that's called LibreOffice.
Yeah.
The
What would be
demand
funny is
wasn't
if you
so
ran it
high.
in Wine. Like, I'm running Office for Windows in Linux.
So there are some people who do
Yeah.
run. Yeah, that's like they're big. They're like, you can run Office 2016 on Linux using Wine.
Why?
What?
To stick it to the man.
Because you've been drinking wine. You're like, I got an idea.
Oh man, we are close to going off the rail. Don is going to regret not being here for this episode.
Yeah. Do you think he's going to watch this?
Yeah, probably. He's
He
probably
watches
watching
a
it
lot
right
of our
now.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. All right. Well, he's going to be.
We had a good run, everyone. Thanks
yeah.
for watching.
I'll miss you. All right, our next one, sticking kind of with Microsoft making fun announcements. Skype for Business Online to be retired in 2021.
Now, is that just the terminology
name?
of
Yeah,
online?
it's
Skype
we're
for
retiring the
Business.
online part.
It says the service will no longer be available.
It's not available now, so.
Current Skype for Business Online customers will experience no change in service. So, the business people, you're good. No, wait, that's the same. Current Skype for Business Online customers will experience no change in service. So we will continue to add new users as needed. However, starting September 1st, 2019, we will onboard all new Office 365 customers directly to Teams for chat. Oh, so they're just rolling it all into Teams.
So hold on, but the way that reads, what happens to the people that I have onboarded up to that point? They're like, all right, so Skype for Business Online, out. You got to go to Teams. I know you know nothing about Teams, and we let you sign up for this yesterday, but you got to go to Teams today. How's that going to work?
Just like that, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Just like that.
So it would be extremely smooth.
That's very same way you just
nailed
described it.
Yeah, that's
well, there you
that's
go.
actually
Right here,
the
buddy.
script that they suggest you use when dealing with new onboarding and hires. So
That's oddly professional.
yeah,
And by oddly professional, I mean it's not at all. I was
You're being facetious.
see, these are stories that, like Don put in here, and he gets all excited.
Oh, he
about-
does. He
about
loves
this
this stuff,
Microsoft thing.
yeah, we're real sorry.
We're just
for
moving.
anybody who
People are like, I love Skype for Business. I don't want to go to Teams.
Well, you can still call it Skype for Business, but it's now Teams.
There you go. I would, actually. I would just continue to call it Skype for Business and defy them to make me change.
sure.
actually that's how I would file help tickets.
Yeah. Skype for Business isn't working again. There is no Skype for Business.
Well, it's
Yes,
like
there is.
we
Yeah,
have
that's what I
OneDrive
use.
at work, and when we go
We
to the
call it
OneDrive
SharePoint.
address, like the address says SharePoint in the browser, I'm like, can you even?
So this was
keep
like a
up
real
with your
issue
own
because
thing?
so I typically don't use the technology that we employ. I just don't need it for most of what I do. And I was trying to get on the OneDrive, and I'm like, Nate, I can't find these folders. Well, something seems to be wrong. He's like, oh, it's actually SharePoint.
Yeah.
I go, that would be helpful to know. Everyone keeps calling it OneDrive. He goes, well, you kind of go through, you map it to the one. And
It
then
is
I'm like,
OneDrive.
Yeah.
here's the problem. This is what causes confusion.
Yeah.
So all of us have our own OneDrive account. That is a OneDrive for Business.
Right.
Yeah.
But then our company one is a SharePoint one that we link our OneDrive account to.
Yeah.
Whose idea was this?
I'm telling you.
Steve Ballmer, I think, originally came up with that.
Hit him with a sack of nickels.
Yeah. He'd like it.
He probably would. Not the
Man,
way I swing
We
it.
are toting the line.
he's like a little
Did
more
you
straight
threaten
edge John
Steve
McAfee.
Ballmer on
no, I did not.
No.
Again.
I was on Skype for Business talking.
I Skyped him.
Yeah.
All right, let's head over now to The Verge for the hard-hitting news at TheVerge.com.
Is that a 90s alt rock band?
It is. For the life of me, I cannot remember.
Oh.
Remember that
Well, I think we were wise, but
Yeah,
we never
there you go.
compromise.
There you go. All right. A new bill would ban autoplay videos and endless scrolling.
I say pass it.
Yeah, I'm in. Well, it's trying to take aim at features that are designed to be addictive.
Okay.
And so I get the endless scrolling because that's just, you're just trying, I'll stop when I get to the bottom of the page and you just keep going. But autoplay doesn't necessarily seem to be addictive. It's just annoying.
So yeah, I was kind of confused by the subtitle. Right, infinite scrolling. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, I might spend more time than usual. Maybe if you have an ad.
Well, it's like it
set of
goes to
ad-
the next page, basically the next
Yeah.
article.
Well,
and
I
you're
guess
like, I guess I'm still
the
reading.
question is so the quote is that it was designed to be addictive.
Mhm.
Is the companies in question, or are the companies in question, actually doing the research into designing addictive features and employing them, and they happen to be autoplay or
Well, I think so
infinite
because
scrolling.
like specifically on that auto scroll thing, or not auto scroll, but endless scroll.
Yeah.
You know, it's news articles or more the clickbait
Right,
kind
and it
of
just
articles
keeps
that are,
giving you new
it's
articles
new
once
ads.
you get to the bottom,
yeah,
yeah.
and so as you scroll down, it's loading more and it's loading more ads and they're getting more ad revenue.
Like
so that's
I feel like I don't want any company to try to addict me to anything, regardless of how innocuous it may seem, and that should be that doesn't seem to be like a good business practice.
Are they banning Candy Crush?
Yeah.
It doesn't say, but it did say YouTube autoplay, endless scrolling, and snap streaks. And we had to ask our producer Megan, who was a young person, what that meant. And because we're like, well, the only thing I find when I search for snap streaks is this thing about Snapchat, but that is it.
Oh.
It is if Justin and I were to snap each other. I think
With like a wet towel?
no, with memes, with dank memes.
No,
Dog,
we're going
I
to definitely
love the
use
dank
Skype
memes.
for Business online to send
Yeah,
our
I
memes to each
sent
other.
you my memes in Teams.
Skype for Zoom business jeans.
I put it in OneDrive. You can find it in SharePoint.
Yeah,
Here's the
yeah.
link. But if we were to snap back and forth, we would have a snap streak if we snapped each other every day.
So I read
And
a
that's
little more
addictive.
about this.
Okay.
Right before
I've
we
never
started this.
literally used Snapchat.
Good
so.
for you.
I
feel
actively
good about
try
my
to
life.
avoid it. Actually,
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
nah. But they said you get rewarded with like emojis.
How is that a
Wait
reward?
a minute, that's not legit. Like if they were like, hey, Peter, if you and Justin have a snap streak for $100, for 100 days, you get $100. I go, well,
Yeah.
that's $100.
I'm snap streaking like my brain's out.
But if it's just a emoji, then I'm
Your
out.
brain releases certain chemicals then.
Yeah, it's called hatred and anger.
Yeah.
when they give me an
They make you
emoji
so
for that.
pleased. You're like, I did it. I won.
Oh, is that what it does?
So I'm trying to
I'm
think
not a
of
scientist.
Not in this brain.
maybe we're atypical. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of times where it's like you get an emoji. I go, oh. Now I have succumbed to gamification. It has helped me stay like on point for things
Right.
I was already interested in.
Right.
Right. So I'm learning a new programming language. I try some new thing. There's sites that are gamified. Hey, you solved this problem. Congratulations. But I was already interested in that.
And the whole purpose of it, the gamification, was so that you would continue to be motivated to learn the thing you're already motivated to learn. So,
Yeah, it's not going to make you like Snapchat if you don't like it already. But if you already use it, it'll make you come back more. Because you might say, oh, do I need to check today? Oh, well, I got to keep that snap streak going.
Okay, so yeah, I guess that kind of applies. Yeah.
right. So let's just
Autoplay
like what we were saying.
videos?
You have to already be like interested.
Is it just
Autoplay
in
videos.
YouTube? Like the
No.
YouTube ones, like get me
Well,
from
it
time
does
to
say
time.
YouTube.
So, but you
autoplay.
can turn off the YouTube autoplay feature.
Right,
It's
you
like,
can opt
it's
in or
right
out.
there.
It's the Netflix
It's just
autoplay I don't
turn
like.
Mm.
It just starts playing as you're scrolling, picking
Yeah.
which
Oh
thing to
yeah,
play.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
annoying.
pain.
Yeah,
because I'm typically just trying to like,
Read.
I'm reading,
yeah, or
I'm
look
reading
at
this-
something and it's over there like screaming at me with a Michael Bay movie.
But the autoplay that happens in ads, right? Or you're like, I'm going to read this news article, and there's like a video autoplay. Yes, they should ban those.
You know
Yeah.
what I hate?
Yeah, that should go.
You know what really
Burns your
grinds
biscuits.
my gears?
Yeah.
is when your phone is volume down and muted, and then an ad still starts playing with music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's just coming out of the bathroom stall then for everybody. And
Yeah. Yes, I want the new Audi, but
I mean, hypothetically, that could be one of
This is
the
what relaxes
Just
me until you start
scenarios.
screaming at me with an ad.
one of the cases that comes up.
that's why do you think so many phones get dropped in the toilet?
It's playing.
I ain't getting that.
Yeah. Well, that lives there
Leave
now.
it.
Yeah.
Leave it.
Oh, I'll do an insurance claim on that bad boy.
All right. Last but not least, over on Gizmodo.com, Netflix is testing physical activity tracking for some reason. I love Gizmodo's headlines.
For some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why, but
They're doing it, though.
But this seems to be something that is unique to Android for the Netflix app in Android, and basically just seems to be. I mean, my understanding from reading this is that it's a feature that you're able to do with Android's operating system. So they're like, yeah, sure,
Why not?
we get more.
I
we
think
can collect more
I
information
think that's
about you.
basically their mindset at this point. Their philosophy is just every piece of data that we can compile about people out there is good for us. And that way we can create a better, stronger, faster algorithm that will make you more addicted to our service, which is now going to be illegal.
Yeah, I look at it and I'm thinking, like, what are they possibly going to learn about me that they didn't already know from this? That I'm not moving when I'm watching Netflix? That seems to be pretty.
Maybe they're wondering if you're
straightforward.
like, is he sitting in a chair watching it?
Or
Is he
on the
laying
train
in bed?
or-
Right.
I feel like they could get that from, like, not your IP address then, but I don't know.
This is one of those things that maybe like they're working with some of those health apps, right? Because you have to give permission to health apps to interact with like your Apple Watch or
Yeah.
your smartwatches and things like that. Maybe it's there, but my thought process is we're going to use this because we're assuming that if you're binging, then you're relatively sedentary. And if you're sedentary, I can create correlations between how long you binge on a certain episode and if that's consistent across people.
Well, what if this is data they're collecting for a new feature they're going to roll out that has something to do that we don't even know about yet? That's going to be
Like
like
haptic
we're going to
feedback?
have interactive shows where
or
you
like-
actually have to get up and move, and they have to test whether or not you are able
Now
to.
they already did Black Mirror, Bandersnatch
Right,
or
the
whatever,
Bandersnatch,
right? By the way, I feel compelled to say this is all us being conspirators. Like none of this is verified whatsoever.
We're making guesses.
But we have seen a large uptick, regardless of whether we've talked about it on here or not, of applications gaining access to data about you on your mobile device that seems kind of disjoint from their original purpose.
Remember the Movie Pass one?
Yeah.
We did a story in here. I think that was before you were on here full time, Justin. But it was about how they were having your location data for where you were before you went to the movie, where you were going from the movie, and it sounded like for advertising to say, "Hey, you should check out the burger place. There's a Hooters next to the movie theater. Whatever it is that you're going to." But it's just like it's too much. I want you for a movie ticket. I want you to because I want to watch shows.
So I keep my location services turned off almost all the time.
I think the only time mine comes on is
When I need
I
to
allow it if the app is actively open for like GPS stuff.
right.
Sure.
That's it.
Otherwise, it's turned off.
Yep.
It does creep me out though when when you get in your car and it's a certain day to go to lunch and it's like it's only 10 minutes to get to the lunch place that I'm going to, and I'm like, how did you? Because I go there too much, or
Yeah. And if the computer knows, then some random guy with a telephoto lens also
Yeah.
knows
Yeah.
that
no one's watching me eat.
through your Foscam.
I don't think that's a thing. Yeah, PeterEats.com. I gotta buy that now. No, I don't.
Yeah.
What's that? Hey, we're gonna. That's it for the news today. But like I said, we got more because we want to talk with Daniel a little bit about ChannelCon coming up. But we're gonna do that after this break. So stay tuned. We got more coming up on Technado right after this.
CompTIA and ITProTV are hitting the road next month, and you can be part of the journey. We'll be dropping by offices across the U.S. with food, drinks, and swag to celebrate IT pros like you. IT doesn't only happen in big cities and large corporations, so we'll be making visits to smaller towns and offices too. Who will we meet? Where will we stop? You can find out by following ITProTV on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to track the route and catch video recaps of each day. It's the road to ChannelCon 2019 from CompTIA and ITProTV. We'll see you soon.
All right, welcome back to Technado, and as promised, we wanted to do a little interview with our own Daniel Lowrie from ITProTV, not just to talk about the great things that he does here at ITProTV, but Daniel, you're heading out west.
Yes.
To ChannelCon.
I'm not taking a covered wagon though.
No, good, because dysentery.
No.
Yeah,
It's
and
a-
Gets you
fording that
every time.
river will get you every
Oh
time.
man, it is a
Mississippi.
killer.
Yeah, the mighty Mississippi.
At the very minimum, you lose all your food.
That's right.
Sure.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
So ChannelCon is CompTIA's annual conference, and you are one of the speakers there. So well, I guess let's start with what you talking about.
What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about I'm doing a couple of different things. I'm on a panel discussion, which will be all about the future of cybersecurity and the state of cybersecurity. And so like where it's at, where we think it's going, what are some of the issues that are surrounding cybersecurity right now, or perceived issues anyway. and how do we think things are going to change? So that ought to be an interesting talk because that's a panel discussion.
So that one, that should be easier. You're not really having to prepare. It's more
Right.
the stuff you know, and the questions will be flying at you.
You nailed it. So I'm more interested in hearing what the other people's perspectives are, and I'm sure the same is true for them as well.
I doubt it.
That's why we watch talks. Yeah, right.
Do you know who they are?
Yeah. I don't know them personally. No,
No, okay.
no, yeah.
It's John McAfee.
Yeah, it's McAfee. Gotta get it right, man.
McCafe.
McCafe. He's a tall drink of chocolate hot water.
Well, so what is? So you're doing another?
Then I actually am doing a presentation, which is called "Living Off the Land: Post-Compromise Tools," brought to you by the user.
Oh, it is living off the land.
Yes,
Okay.
it is
I
called
thought you were
living off the
joking.
land.
It's like
No,
I'm talking
no.
about farming and sustainable.
Yeah,
He's like,
Listen,
this
if
is a
you need-
potato.
It's a
Let
composting
me show you what I
toilet.
can do with some wind generators.
So why is it called living off the land?
So they call it living off the land because nowadays there's a big push for, I say a push, it's just kind of the way things are evolving and moving inside of information security or red teaming, and even in advanced threats. This typically stems down from advanced threats and how they change their tactics, right? So what has not just started to happen, but has been happening is they want to rely less on having to use good old-fashioned malware to gain access or maintain access or both into a system, because that's kind of detectable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I sent you a file in an email as an attachment, you double click it, it runs, and there's your Trojan, and it fires off. Most modern antiviruses are going to go, you can't do that. I don't like that. That's bad. Get rid of it, right? So it's all signature based, right? So all these things get pushed up into the interwebs there, and then all the signatures get updated, and they say, oh, we got a new one there. So the advanced threats are moving away from using that because it's becoming more difficult for them to find good vulnerabilities that they can then turn into an exploit. So companies are starting to push toward better security, using secure coding practices so that these things aren't allowable. So it's making it more difficult for them to find those things. And B, antivirus and endpoint protection has gotten better at finding them when they are able to push out a piece of malware to attack your system. So
oh, go ahead. I was gonna say.
That's
So what's the
yeah.
other way?
Yeah.
Because is it like social engineering to actually like, hey, I have your actual username and password. That's not detected as a flag because I'm supposed to be able to use this password.
Partly,
with this user.
yes. That is what they mean by I'm living off the land. I have things available to me already. Why don't I just leverage them to give me access and or maintain access to the system? So that's what they mean by living off the land. I want to get into the system using stuff that you're already using. So AV ain't going to flag it because it's allowed. It's a part of the system that you're using. And B, if someone is monitoring, they're going to have a harder time seeing it as an anomaly because it's normalized traffic. So, okay, well, yeah, I'm getting more RDP connections from this weird IP. But even if they do hone in on something like, this seems strange that we're getting this traffic, even though it looks legit, it's still like kicking off some feelers. My spidey sense is tingling kind of thing. Now they got to differentiate, well, who is it that's doing this, right? So there's no way to say, well, I can attribute that to this APT. Well, I say there's no way. It's difficult to attribute it to this APT versus that APT because they're using the same tactics. So it's harder to create a signature or identify them based off of signature attacks that they use or malware that they use because they're not using it. They're just using stuff that's already at the ready and gaining and maintaining access through this.
So is this talk kind of just explaining that overall process and belief in the shift, or are you getting into some like best practices for people to use?
Yeah, so I don't do blue team stuff, so I won't get into like best practices on how to defend against these
Well, not how
types
to
of
defend it,
things.
but how to do it.
But yes, how to do it. Yes, we will get into. We're going to take a look at PowerShell Empire, which is a framework for doing living off the land post exploitation. It even does exploitation. You can use it to exploit a machine, but I find it highly advantageous. And it was interesting through my research into doing this and creating my slides and my demonstration and everything for the talk. I came across a new framework called Silent Trinity, which just came out the end of last year, and it's still in development. But you can still, it's already being used by APTs to gain access and maintain access into government systems and across the world. So
I haven't heard of this one. What is Silent Trinity?
So Silent Trinity is basically, it is IronPython built application that allows you to run. It can hook into .NET. I was actually showing this to Justin the other day. Really cool stuff. The guy was like, you know what? I just want to run Python because I like Python. I wonder how I can get a Windows machine to do that without actually having Python installed. And someone went, well, what about IronPython? It hooks right into .NET. And .NET is what runs Windows.
Mm-hmm.
So when I write something in IronPython, .NET goes, I can do that. And so there you go. So he just created a framework that basically allows the two things to talk together. I can now create a module using IronPython and send that over to my compromised machine, and it will go, oh, it's .NET. Cool, do that. So even if you're blocking like PowerShell stuff in some way, shape, or form, this just kind of like goes even under the covers farther, or acts as another avenue into the underlying subsystem to give you access to it. So it's super cool.
Well, that's scary.
Yeah.
Hey, can I make a suggestion too for the name of your talk? Living off the LAN. Take off the D. It has nothing to do with technology, but it's a pun.
Yeah,
It's a computer pun.
Yeah. And it'll just be dank memes the whole time.
Yeah, just dank memes.
Do love a good dank meme.
Yeah.
And
That's a fun
so,
word to say.
So you're going out there. I know Dom Pizzette, who's normally over in that seat where Justin's sitting today, is going out there and kind of hosting the ChannelCon live experience. So there's going to be kind of like daily recaps and interviews and stuff. So that's something you can certainly check out as well. And then I think Wes is going, right?
Yep,
Wes
is speaking as well. Yeah, and a panel talk.
Okay. Oh, he's doing too as well?
He's doing too as well. Yep.
Wow. We'll let anybody out there. Do you know what he's talking about?
Let's see here. His presentation is on update cycles, like the modern update cycles and how they look for the different platforms that are available. And then his panel, I can't say that I saw what his panel talk was going to be on. Oh, it was something to do with help desk. Something to do with like help desk training or something to that effect, if I'm remembering correctly.
Hey, well, I've got some good news for the people out there that ChannelCon is free to attend online. So actually, if we can bring up my screen here over at CompTIA.org/ChannelCon, you click on the ChannelCon Online tab up there, and you can see here, ChannelCon is free for all attendees. And so you'll be able to actually see these talks, including your panels, including lightning rounds, and this big one right here.
Yeah, buddy.
A conversation with Shaquille O'Neal. Yes,
PhD in
that's
education.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yes.
Honorary?
Nope. Legit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I know he's done like the cop thing too.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
didn't
right.
realize he
I
had
forgot
gone,
about that.
He had gone that route as well. Good for him. Wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously he's not a computer professional, but he's able to talk about, all of the different things he's got his
There I
hands in.
am, living off the land.
Where are we?
Right there.
Living off the... Oh, yeah, you kept the D on there. I'd go, yeah. Living off the WAN. Those compromise tools brought to you by Target.
Nice.
Oh, brought to you by
The
Target.
Target,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, that makes more sense.
Target, yeah. They
Sponsored
did
by Target.
Yeah, here's how the people stayed in the Target system.
Yeah, and there's Daniel. Oh, and it is CEU approved. You can get continuing education credits for seeing Daniel. That's seems like a scam, but well, cool. So that is 2:30. I guess that's probably Pacific time on August 7th, 2009. So if you're there, definitely stop by and say hi to Daniel and Wes and Don. But if not, you can be there at ChannelCon
Virtually.
online. Yeah. You nervous?
No,
You should be.
I don't know what that's about.
Millions of people.
He can't feel
Watching.
nerves.
Yeah.
It's you and Shaq.
Yeah. Shaq's got big shoes to fill if he's going to go
Yeah,
after
they're
me.
like size 24.
Yeah. You ever seen a size 17 shoe at a shoe
huge.
rack?
It's huge.
Because you don't think about it, but all those shoes on a shoe display are like size 10s.
Yeah.
I've even asked for my size shoe, and I'm like, that is giant. And I wear a 12.
Yeah.
And then you go, well, what are these over here that look like a kayak that I need a boat oar to get in them and go down the river?
Yeah.
And
That's
they're
not a
like,
shoehorn. That's an oar.
Shaq wears a size 23,
23.
according to this.
That is
Is that a pump?
That is a
Is that
Reebok
a new
pump.
Reebok pump?
Probably.
That
if
is
they-
not. That's
they
25th
pump.
anniversary,
Good for him.
bro. I'm gonna go run out and buy me some pumps. That's for.
Are you going to go
that's
see
what's
Shaq's
up.
talk?
If you know what, if I had time, I would go
Yeah,
see
you
it.
got
Yeah,
to. You got to see Shaq's talk.
yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you, Daniel, for letting us know about that, and hopefully we can follow up afterwards. Actually, you know what? You're going to be on Technado next week too.
Am I
don't know
really?
if you knew that, but
did not know that.
you and Wes and Don are going to sit down out there and
And
talk
Technado it
about
up.
all the things that you learned that week. So write some stuff down if you could.
It's all up here, baby.
I want a recap of Shaq's speech
I'm just gonna take pictures of his shoes the whole time.
done in Shaq voice.
I don't know that I can get my voice that deep.
Yeah, you got to go
He's
low.
got like a
Yeah.
super deep voice.
Yeah, for some reason, I would probably just go into like a Charles Barkley
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just kind of meander between several individuals.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Hey, before we let you guys go today, I want to let you know about a couple of things here. We've got an upcoming webinar. If you head over to ITPro.tv/webinars, you can see this one. It is Last-Minute Disaster Prep, 6 Action Steps to Minimize the Impact. And it's going to be Mike Roderick and Don Pizzette talking about that on Thursday, August 15th at 2 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. If you want to see, we actually had a earlier one about... here we go. When disaster strikes. So this is kind of like the disaster planning earlier in the process, and then this next webinar is the hurricanes down the road. What are the last couple things that we do? Like where do we tie the server down? So definitely check that one out, and you can see all of the old webinars as well because they're archived here. You just go to this website, ITPro.tv/webinars. Ooh, even Daniel's there about Eternal Blue that we were talking about. So he did that. Also want to let you know about a special offer from ITProTV. If you head over to go.itpro.tv/Technado, you can get 30% off of your personal subscription and a 7-day free trial. Also got some information there for Teams if you want to get a demo of our Teams features and our Pro Portal that lets you kind of manage your team and what they're learning about. You can do that over at go.itpro.tv/Technado. Well, thank you, gentlemen, and I think Don has proven his job is safe.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
He didn't even have to try.
No, Yeah, he didn't.
It was. We didn't get bingo either, did you?
No.
No, I got about nothing.
I got like random
one
smatterings of
thing.
words.
Well, normally I can count on Don to like explain things to me, and he uses like the right words.
Yeah.
We didn't.
No,
We-
we did not.
We talked about
Nor shall I.
Shaq and movie
we had fun.
references.
Yeah.
We had a great time.
That's the thing that Don does not do.
Oh, he has a terrible
He's-
time.
he's- yeah,
He
just
always
hates
talks about how this is his worst part of the week
Yeah.
for him.
But we keep coming in here.
Yeah,
We do.
He
Well,
knows
we-
those bottles of alcohol behind
Yeah,
us, right?
yeah, they're all empty. That should tell you something. We hope you had a good time as well, and we hope you will join us next week right here on Technado. See you then.